All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to every single member of the elect of the nation of Israel, man, the men, the women, and the children that are going to receive salvation in the day of the Lord's wrath, all right? And are going to refuse that device mentioned in Revelation, the 13th chapter and the 16th verse, all right? So what you see on the screen right now here is a video that I found, right, which I've seen it before anyway, but this time seeing it, it made me think a lot more, man, about how a lot of men go around trying to defend women that are not worthwhile protecting. And before I even go into anything else, let me get a scripture, all right? Let me get a scripture first. So this is Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 17. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife not belong, he that passeth by and meddleth with strife belonging not to him is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. And what you see in this video is this guy on the left, right? This man on the left. let me see, get the image again. I liked that frame scream. Yeah, the man, look at that, man. The one on the left, right? He was defending some woman because she stepped on this man's shoes on the right, the Jake. She stepped on his shoes, which they're probably both Israelites anyway, these guys. But they was both running their mouth. But the guy on the left was defending some woman that stepped on the guy on the right's trainers or his footwear or whatever, right? So he started shouting at her, and more than likely she probably never apologized or something like that. And we already know that Jake gets hype about people stepping on his trainers anyway. But this guy over here on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, tried to become a hero and wanted to try and defend her so-called honor and all that, and was talking up for her, right? And then they end up getting into a fight, man. He ends up saying he's gonna put him in the hospital, and the one on the left ends up saying to the guy on the right, you're gonna end up getting put in the hospital," right? The guy on the right's clearly not playing around, right? So he's like, "Get off my next." The guy on the left's like, "Get off from my next stop," and we're gonna see then what's gonna happen. So then the guy on the right was like, "Nah, get off on my stop," which was gonna be 7 stops afterwards, right? And he's like, "Nah, I'm not gonna get off at your stop. You better get off at my stop since you want to do something." So then the Jake says, "All right, then I will get off at your stop," right? And then when he gets off at the stop, the guy on the left proceeds to get absolutely lamped in, man, right? And for what you do, if you don't really understand that terminology, he gets his ass whooped, right? The guy on the left gets whooped, man. He gets dashed around, smacked in the mouth, ends up with blood coming out of him, and he didn't end up getting to get beat up as good as the guy wanted to, because people was pulling at him, trying to stop him from doing what he wanted to do, man. And let me see if I can get a little freeze frame of this. All right. So the guy ends up from that position, talking reckless. And let me just go back to a freeze frame of his stance, man. Because you can already see that the guy didn't really know how to fight. But he wanted to try and be a hero and try and defend some woman's so-called honor and that, right? And I ain't trying to be like Teddy Atlas up in here neither, but right, you can see if I get a freeze frame enough, you'll see that his stance ain't right, man. That's not the stance of somebody that knows how to fight, man. And then he's defending this woman, right? But guess what? When he's getting whooped, there we go. Look at that stance. That stance is not worthy to be considered a stance, right? His chin's clearly on display, and like I said before, I ain't trying to become Teddy Atlas here. I'm just trying to add a bit of a laugh and joke to the video, man, right? But it's not a funny situation, is what I gotta say that, because many men end up dead from trying to protect women that ain't worthwhile protecting, and the woman that he tried to protect is not out there at the train platform while he's getting whooped. She more than likely stayed on the train, didn't care about it. And there's many men that have ended up going out of it. You know what? Let me get that scripture. Because this whole video is about the scriptures more than anything else, man. It's not about my personal review of his fighting technique. It's about the scriptures of the Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. This is 1 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 26. Yea, men there be that have run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sake. So more than likely, this guy was attracted to the woman. He thought, I'm going to be a knight in shining armor, man. Once I defeat this guy, then I'm going to take her out on a date. And all that ended up happening is he ended up getting his head stamped on. He ended up with blood coming out of his nose, right? And ended up looking stupid. And he could have had a lot more peaceful day if he would have just minded his own business, man. Because more than likely, the woman deserved to be shouted at. More than likely, she deserved that, man. And it could have got way worse for him, to be honest with you. And this is going to be a video that's a warning to us brothers, man. Because sometimes people want to try. He tried to do the right thing. He tried to do the right thing, but he went about it in a way that he was trying to become a tough guy himself, man. And then ended up getting beat up. And if you look at, let me go back to the video. If you look at how this guy is dressed, what the hell is this guy dressed like a Matrix character for, bruh? Why is he dressed like a character from the Matrix? Let me go back. Why is he dressed like that on a train? He's got about 10 belt buckles or clasps on his top. He's got knuckle duster gloves on, right? He's got sunglasses on. Like, what was he up to, man? He was clearly up to no good anyway. And he thought he was a tough guy. But he didn't even know how to fight. Yet he went about his day. He went about his day trying to like defend some woman that didn't give a damn about him. There, look at him. He got beat up and he lost. Right? Trying to defend some woman that didn't care about him in any way. First chapter 4 and verse 26 again. Yeah, many they be that have run out of their wits for women and have become servants for their sakes. Now, if this guy had wisdom, he would have went about this thing in a different way, man. He would have, instead of trying to talk up and talk tough, he could have tried to still diffuse the situation, but used wisdom about it, right? Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. So we could clearly see that the guy was angry about his shoes being stepped on, but then he proceeded to say in the video, I'll step on your shoes and see what the hell you're going to do to me if I step on your shoes. That's not wise to do. And the only reason why he said that is because he thought in his mind that he was going to win the fight if it happened. Because he wouldn't have said it if he thought he was going to lose. And really, he kind of probably wanted for somebody else to step in, a stranger to step in and try and break the fight up, but nobody came to help him, man. People just left him to a certain degree to get beat up, man. And that's why it's not wise to be meddling to other people's matters, which was the other scripture that I read in this lesson. In Proverbs 26, I believe it was. Was it Proverbs 26? Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 17. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belonging not to him is like one that taketh a dog by the ears. And somebody that just takes the dog by the ears is an asshole, man. And this guy showed himself to be an asshole. He got involved in a fight that was none of his business, right? And ended up getting beat up for that, man. He should have minded his own business. But he wanted to try and show how tough he was because he thought he was going to win that fight. And that's why the Lord tells us not to glorify in those type of things, man. But he wanted to do that. This is Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23. Thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches. So we ain't supposed to just be looking for opportunities to show how tough we think we are, right? Because when you go about trying to live your life in that way, Yahweh's going to make you meet somebody that's tougher than you, as this man felt. You'll just end up meeting somebody else that's tougher or stronger than you are, because there's always somebody like that around. And when with the day of the Lord's wrath that's coming, people ain't prepared for what's coming, man. Verse 24, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth enough me, that I am Yahweh, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord, Yahweh. So we ain't supposed to be on none of that, man. But this guy clearly wanted to try and be a tough guy, and it backfired on him miserably, man. He wanted to try and step in and defend some woman's honor, but the woman wasn't worth defending, because where was she when he was getting stomped on? Nowhere. She more than likely stayed on the train and didn't get involved in it in any way, man. And she more than likely, when she stepped on the man's foot, didn't even apologize. Because it's not always about people's shoes. They're caring about their J's, and that whenever someone steps on their foot, it's a thing of like, if you step on someone's foot, the polite thing to do is to apologize, and then you can move on with it, on with the rest of your day. That's just a certain politeness that people should have for each other. But it's not a thing where if someone steps on someone's shoes, you're supposed to try and put them to death, because that's not worthwhile neither. That's stupid. That's stupid, man. Because you can clean the shoes, or you can eventually stack up the money again to get another pair, and then it's settled, man. You know what I mean? But Jake's be caring too much about how they look and too much about their rep. So then they end up doing stuff like this and that. Jake could have ended up getting arrested, but he didn't in this video. But it could have ended up happening, man. And maybe he did afterwards, some like from the cameras or whatever. Who knows? You know, because a lot of these Edomites are antagonists anyway. They'll try and talk reckless to try and get you to want to fight them, and then as soon as they lose the fight, now they're getting and going and calling the police. So don't be wasting your time fighting none of these devils, man. And if an Edomite tries to touch you and tries to do something to you, then we're allowed to do self-defense, man. But we're not supposed to be the one on offense. We're supposed to be on self-defense. All right? And let me carry on. Because another thing that I spotted on this video is that a lot of women, man, was just doing the typical routine of screaming. You know? They were screaming, crying, moaning, whinging. Oh my God, oh my God. Right? As if they'd never seen no one do anything bad in their life before, man. And I was thinking about if they're going on like that with that, then how much are they going to be doing when it comes to the day of the Lord, man? This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword of the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. So these women are crying and complaining about that little fight, about that little skirmish between two men. But way worse than that is coming. There's way worse than that coming for these people, and they're not going to be laughing then. We can all walk around with a dumb look on our face now, right? But way more than that, what they saw is coming upon this earth. Way more than that is going to be coming around here, man. But we can all try and play games now and laugh and joke and think, oh, nothing's ever going to happen. No, it's definitely going to happen. Violence happens in the earth every single day. But what a lot of people have done is had arrogance to where they think that no violence is ever going to happen to them. And it is. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So a person is going to desire to cause somebody harm. And guess what? They're going to do it, right? They're going to have in the thought process, I'm going to hurt somebody, and they're going to go about their way to do it. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So what's going to happen is a lot of people that want to desire to go and gallivant around these different cities over here in all these different countries, the access is going to be denied. And it's going to start off with people not being able to travel from one city in one country to another city in another country, right? And then it's going to get to where people cannot travel from one city within their particular country. They're going to be restricted from even that access of travel. And when these things happen, these people are going to lose their mind, man, because for the longest time, they've been able to just go around and do whatever they wanted to do. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So if the men are going to be afraid, then the women are going to be terrified. And even in that fight right there, where it was a fight between two men, that no woman was involved in the fight technically when it came to the violent portion, but a woman was the person that started the fight because she stepped on the man's foot, right? Probably didn't apologize or whatever. I'm just speculating. She probably didn't apologize, right? But then somebody else got involved to try and defend her. But in the days to come, even that's not going to happen because the man's going to have the anger with the woman, and the woman's going to be the one that gets the anger aimed at her. And that's why that guy ended up getting beat up, man. That violence was supposed to have ended up on, if anyone, on the person that caused the situation. And I'm not saying that he should have did that, but the person, like, people are crazy out here, man. But a lot of people still don't understand what type of things are coming to the earth. Verse 18, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And here's one thing that a lot of women don't even understand as well, right? A lot of women always think that men are the aggressor in every single situation. But there's going to be certain situations, right, where women are going to set up their friend that might live in a particular neighborhood to get robbed, man. Right? People don't really think about that. People don't really think that women are evil. Right? People don't really think that women can set up their friend to have their friend have all their food stolen. You know? They can pretend, oh, babes, can you let me in? It's just me. No, it's just me. There's no one else with me, right? Have a thumb all over over the keyhole, over the spy hole or whatever it's called, man, on the door, right? And as soon as that friend opens the door, loads of people that she knows all running up in the house, man. And they dash her out of the house, dash the children out of the house, dash the husband out of the house, everything. And then they live in there now. A lot of that's going to be happening too. Let me read this again, verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So all of this stuff's going to be happening. And with those women were screaming like it was the end of the world because the two men was having a fight, that wasn't going to affect them in either way. They didn't have no personal interest in who the winner or loser was of that fight. The violence wasn't even aimed at them. And a lot of these women lose their mind when the violence isn't even aimed at them. So what are they going to be doing when all the people that they've caused problems in their lives are going to be coming and looking for them? Because those women didn't repent to the Lord, so the Lord allowed the people that they've been evil to find them. What are they going to do in that day? What are they going to do, man? But people ain't really thinking about these things. They're just thinking that life's a joke, man. They're just thinking about TikToks. Or they're thinking about how many followers they got. They're thinking about how to finesse men. That's what a lot of these women are thinking about. Thinking about, I'm going to finesse this guy. I'm going to finesse that guy. No, you're going to get finessed in the day of the Lord's wrath. Let me read this. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that there is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Let me jump up a bit. Verse 6, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hand on his loins, as a woman in travail? And all faces are turned to paleness. So if a man's going to be like a woman, then a woman's going to be like a little child, right? And a child is going to be, I can't even think of the word to explain what a child's going to be like in that day. Because the men's the strongest of all on earth, right? The man's in the highest rank of everything that walks the earth. And he's going to be terrified like a woman in travail. So what's a woman going to be like, man? How are they going to be handling things? And some women might be like thinking in their mind, well, I'm attractive enough that I'll be able to finesse it and get a man to like do the things that he's going to want like me, and I'm going to use my feminine charms on him. You ain't going to have any feminine charms in that day, man. All the feminine charms are going to be getting taken away. Let's read about it, right? Let's read about the feminine charms, shall we? Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. So because the Israelite woman's proud, right? Because she's haughty, because she's walking around with her eyes looking up in men's faces, seeing who she can get to be attracted to her, being proud, with her chin elevated to the heavens, like, man, he better be, he better have a Birkin bag for me, otherwise he's not up to scratch for me, right? It's the what's that stuff they be saying? It's the this or that for me. It's the this or that. It's the that for me. It's the height for me. You know, that's how they be talking, right? It's the height for me. It's the vibe for me, right? It's the job for me. It's the personality for me. You know, all that. They be talking all that period, all that stuff they be talking. All that attitude is going to be thrown out the damn window with what Yahweh's getting ready to bring. All that period talk. I just need a man that do this and do that. Period. All that stuff's going to be getting slung out the window, man. Verse 17. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts. So the women ain't going to be able to even use their looks to be trying to deceive men anymore, because the looks of the Israelite woman is going to be taken away even further than the Lord's already done it in the first place. Because Yahweh's already took the Israelite woman's hair away, but Esau gave her a technique to cover that up with weave, with wigs, right? He gave her a technique to cover that up, man. Gave her the ability to deceive men with filters, right? They gave them some ability to become Decepticons, right? Verse 18. In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their calls and their round thighs like the moon. So all that ability for them to be able to, well, let me say it like this: all the things that make a woman be brave and have confidence, right, are going to be taken away. Verse 19: the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, which these things, ain't the women of our nation ain't even got access to these things as much as they would like to have it anyway. But Yahweh's going to really take it away again in the day of the Lord's wrath, man, in the day of his wrath. Verse 19: the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, all the nice clothes, all them clothes where their legs split and their legs shining out, and they got all the coconut oil on there or the almond oil or whatever. They got these special oils on there. You walk past them, they smell nice. You know, all that, all the braided hair with them stupid eyelashes and the claw talon fingernails. All that's gonna be getting dragged away. All the lip gloss, that's gonna be getting dragged away, man. All the headbands, the bandanas, all that, it's gonna be getting snatched away, man. Verse 23, the glasses, and I looked into this bit, the glasses, and what it went into is that in ancient Israel, right, that the Israelite woman used to have mirrors made from like precious metals, man. Right? When it reads the glasses, it's like it's really talking about a mirror. And in ancient Israel, the Israelite woman used to have mirrors made from precious metals, man. Right? And I looked it up on the internet to see what kind of thing this would look like, and I found that there was mirrors. There used to be mirrors made from brass, like a brass metal that can be like polished to such a degree that you can see a reflection in it, man. The Israelite woman used to have access to that, whereas now they got some $29.99 mirror from IKEA. That's what they got now. But even still, they're proud with that. So how is going to take that off? He's going to take that away, man. And they're going to be having to see what they look like from their reflection from the canal. And then have to drink from that canal. And have to bathe in that canal too. And they can say, nah, I ain't going to have. What are you going to be doing? Well, hopefully, I'm not going to be nowhere near any of the women that are like that I'm talking about. Verse 24, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well-set hair, boldness. So the woman that's bold already, but I've tried to cover their hair up with weave, that weave is going to look mad as hell. And that's going to have to get dragged out, and we're going to see the bold residue underneath, man. And if it's stirring up feelings and emotions in women that are hearing this, good, right? Because you sinned, just like how we sinned as men. But you thought that in your man that you can try and deceive out and jump away from the curse, man. But you can't though. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 24, and it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well-set hair, boldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. And there's a lot of women. I just saw a proud woman right now walk past. But in the day of the Lord's wrath, she ain't going to be proud no more. She ain't going to be proud no more, man. And some of these women are not even attractive now, and are still proud. So how ugly are these women going to be looking in the day of the Lord's wrath, man? How are they going to be looking in that day? Men ain't going to want nothing to do with them. Their attitude stinks. They can't cook. They can't clean. They can't shut their mouth. They can't humble themselves. So what use are they going to have in the day of the Lord's wrath? They'll just be target practice for some crazy lunatic with a bow and arrow or something like that, man. They ain't going to have no use. They ain't going to have a use, man. Verse 25, thy men shall fall by the sword and thy mighty in the war, because some women might say, nah, I've got men to protect me. I've got brothers and I've got uncle, my tough guy uncle. My man's 6'5" knocking out any man around here, like, yeah. My uncle, they might have an uncle, you know what I mean? They might have a cousin. They got cousins and that. They might talk that. I got cousins, you can't do me nothing. Verse 25, thy men shall fall by the sword and thy mighty in the war. Because a war is coming, man. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. So when these women have really realized that everything that was said was going to happen is right in front of their face, they're going to sit on the ground desolate. Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And some of these women are going to get told, no, I don't want you. Do one. Some of these women are going to get told, nah, man, you're on your own out here. That's what a lot of them are going to be getting told, man. No, that's not happening. I don't want you. That's what they're going to be getting told, man. And they're going to have got rejected, a lot of them, for the first time ever in their life. Because how it is for them right now is they're running around doing things with people. I'll just leave it at that. They're just running around doing things, man. And as I'm doing this video, I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be, man. There's a weirdo, some weirdo on a skateboard in sandals. Who have you ever seen? When have you ever seen somebody on a skateboard in sandals, bro? These people, man. And I hate that flip-flops spirit too, man. That flip-flop spirit. I hate when I've been seeing people running around with flip-flops on, man. You know how comfortable you have to be walking around with flip-flops in the UK when it's just previously rained on these dirty floors. Anyway, Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. Rise up, you women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years ye shall be troubled, ye careless women. For the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. So all that spirit of women walking around in yoga pants, right? Pretending like they're going to the gym when they're not going to the gym. They don't have a gym membership, right? They're just trying to get some attention, man. You don't go gym. You don't have a gym membership. You're after attention. All that's going to be taken away, right? Verse 11. Tremble, ye women are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teach, for the pleasant fields, for the fruit for vine. It's not going to be there. And this is a video as well for men. Like, it's not worth us potentially losing on our salvation for trying to defend some of these women that don't care about you. You're going out your way to try and defend some of these women, and they don't care. Doesn't the scripture say that let no man take your crown? So why are we going to risk ourselves for these people that are wicked anyway, and end up trying to make these people escape judgment that they deserve a lot of the time? This is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 25. But that which you have already, hold fast till I come, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall be broken to shivers, even as I've received from my Father. So if we understand and know that, why are we going to be going out of our way to be trying to help these people that don't deserve the help, man? If these people deserve the help, in a lot of these cases, Yahweh would be helping them, right? Yahweh would be making their enemies be at peace with them. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 7. When a man's ways please Yahweh, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. So if you're a person that's following after the scriptures, there's going to be people that hate you and they don't like you and that, right? But you're not just always going to be in a situation. You're not just always going to be up to something. And there's certain people that they've just always got some kind of situation with people, man. There's always a fight. There's always a battle. There's always something that they've some kind of grievance that they've got with another person. But if you're following after the Lord for real, you ain't always gonna be like that, man. There's not gonna be situation after situation like that. Now, 1 second. Let me just pause this for 1 second. Salakia. All right, I'm back. I'm gonna bring this scripture out in the lesson as well. This is Isaiah chapter 31 and verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh. And a lot of women, when they realize that they've lost out on certain of the men that they used to get access to certain things from, right? They're going to now say, well, you know what? I'm going to go to Esau for these things, right? And they're going to try and run to Esau for help, and they're not going to find it. It's going to be a fake help. It's going to be a fake help, man, that they're going to receive from that. Now I think I'm gonna end the lesson there, man. It's just a video going into how a lot of people don't even understand what's coming to this earth, and women were screaming about that fight, right? But way worse than that is coming to the earth. So if they couldn't handle that small discrepancy, then how much are they gonna be losing their mind when major things happen, man? And that we shouldn't be. It's not worthwhile for us to be even getting involved in all these other people's business, man. Leave them to it, man. Obviously, there might be certain situations where it might be the right thing, but in a situation like this one that I showed in the video, it's not even worthwhile, because all that will end up happening is you end up looking stupid like this guy did. And if you're trying to stop somebody receiving a judgment that they were supposed to get, well, then you're going to end up with blood coming from your nose too. Or I'll end up with blood coming from my nose, man. And I don't want to be looking like that. And I'm going to end the lesson there. Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makar Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. Shalom.